All right, so this is case number 23X00835 FY, State of Michigan versus Christopher Davenport.
Robert Schrock on behalf of the people.
Good morning, Your Honor. May it please the court. My name is Rob Morat, here on behalf of Christopher Davenport, who stands to my left.
I need some legal pads.
Oh, there's one, I read you one in your desk, I read it next to you.
Okay, I need some more. This isn't big enough.
Okay.
Thank you. Sir, what is that? All right, Mr. Davenport, we're here today for a preliminary examination. And the charge here is a retail fraud, first degree. And so are there any preliminary matters for the people?
Mutual sequestration order. All my witnesses are out of the courtroom currently. Do you have any witnesses?
I don't, Judge. We're not going to have any other witnesses.
Okay, so then of course that's granted. And there's already no one in the courtroom, but if someone comes in, they're just wait outside and they'll discuss the matter until they're called to testify. All right.
That the people will Antonio Moran.
Okay.
Okay, see those down the left or sitting down. Look at Judge Johnson and raise your right hand. Yep, that one right there.
All right, thank you. Good morning, sir. Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I swear.
All right, thank you very much. Have a seat. And try to keep your voice up like I am towards the back door so we can all hear you. Okay, go ahead.
Please state and spell your name for the record.
Antonio Murad, ANTONIOMURAD.
How are you employed?
What's that?
How are you employed?
Worker at Foodland.
What do your duties entail?
Stock. Quality, everything.
You do checkouts?
Cashier, yep.
What does stocking shelves entail?
Stocking shelves. What do you mean stocking shelves?
When you take an item out to put it on a shelf, do you scan it with anything?
No.
Do you determine the price of anything?
No, I do not.
Does someone else tell you what the price is?
No, I do not.
Does someone else tell you what the price of the item should be?
No.
How do you know the price of an item?
There's a tag right there. I just open the box and just follow the tag and just put it up.
And you put the tag on the shelf?
No, I do not.
There's the tag on the shelf already?
The tag on the
Someone
shelf.
else puts the tag on the shelf?
Yeah.
Okay, so you just look for the tag on the shelf
And just put
and
it
that's
up.
where you put the item?
Yeah.
Okay. Where's Foodland located?
8 Mile.
Is that in the city of Southfield,
Yes.
within the county of Oakland?
Yes.
Were you employed at Foodland on August 27th, 2023?
Yes.
Anything out of the ordinary happened on that day?
Yes. Besides, we had a shoplifter that day. Took about, I would say, 12 Tide Pods.
You said you had a shoplifter,
Yeah.
so how do you know that someone was shoplifting from the store?
The camera footage.
When you say the camera footage, how did you see the camera footage?
In the office.
You were sitting in the office while this was happening?
No, I was not. I was in the back room, and one of the cashiers were missing Tide Pods. It looked like empty.
So someone else saw an empty spot on the shelf?
Yes.
You being the stalker, they went and asked you?
They went and asked me.
What did you do in response?
I rewinded the camera, went in the office. They said, guy walked out with all his hands all filled with Tide Pods. So I did my research, rewinded the camera, and it looked like, which he did steal the pods.
Are these cameras always running?
Yes.
You always have the ability to view them?
Yes.
Do you look at them regularly?
Yes.
Okay. Can you describe what the person you saw taking items off the shelf looked like?
He had a Detroit Tiger shirt on. It was yellow. It looked like he had 2 pants on, and his face looked a little kind of chubby. A little.
Do you see that person in the courtroom today?
No.
Okay. You said you saw this person put items in his pants and walk out? What items did he put in his pants?
Tide Pods.
How many?
Around 12. The whole shelf was wiped out.
And how many were on the shelf?
More like 30, 40.
Okay. And what do you sell those Tide Pods for?
They go from a range to $8 to close to $27. So the ones that he took were $24.99.
And you can agree with me that $24.99 times 12 is about $300.
Yes.
Once you watch this video, what did you do next?
I called the police.
And did the police come?
Yes.
What happened when the police came?
I showed him the film. We were in the office. Took about like 10, 15 minutes, and then our security guard. I told the security guard what happened. The security guard said, "Hey, he's outside walking towards 8 Mile," and I pointed to the policeman. I said, "That's him," and he went and did whatever he did.
Did you do anything else between watching the video and calling the police?
Yeah. Before that, I went and followed him when he went to the gas station. I did do that.
So he's walking out of the store as you're watching this video, and you saw him?
I saw him. Yeah.
Okay. And how did you follow him?
With my vehicle.
Well, you were following with when you were following him with your vehicle. Did you do anything?
No.
You did nothing while you were following him.
Just took videos and pictures. But
So you were taking videos and pictures?
Yeah, nothing physically. I didn't get out of the car and approach him.
Once you took those videos and pictures, what did you do with them?
I saved them until the police came to show the police.
Did you show the police?
Yes.
Did you give those photos to the police?
Not physically, but I forwarded to him.
May I approach the witness? Ron?
Yes.
What did I just hand you?
The picture of the guy walking with the Tide Pods in his hand.
Did you take those pictures?
Yes, I did.
Do you see that person in the courtroom today?
It's already been asked and answered.
Yes.
Can you point out something that he's wearing?
The gray shirt.
Yana, did you want to do anything with that objection?
No. That's a rule. You just identified him.
After you said you followed him to the gas station. What happened at the gas station?
When he got to the gas station, it looked like he gave those Tide Pods to the guy in the Suburban. Like he sold them, emptied out his whole pants and everything, gave it to him.
How you say give it to him? How did you give it to him? You gave it through the window?
No, it just looked like he stripped down in the gas station, just handed it to him. The guy put it in his
Did
truck.
you see how many he took out of his pants? Or were you too far away?
I was too far away. I was driving. There was traffic and stuff.
What happened next?
I went back to the store and police came and
Were the police already there when you got there?
no.
Okay. Then the police arrived. You might have already said this. What happened when the police arrived?
And the police came, showed them the footage, I showed them what happened, I showed them what was missing, and from there they caught him and they went from there.
I have no further questions for this witness.
That's
Right. May I approach the witness one more time?
Yeah.
Well, sorry, before I let this witness go. People moved to admit exhibit 1, photos of the defendant walking into the gas station.
Any objection?
No, Judge.
Okay, that's admitted.
Thank you.
So your last name is Murad, correct?
Yes,
M-U-R-A-D?
yes,
All
sir.
right, no relation to my last name, which is M-O-R-E. So you indicated just recently that the defendant was in those pictures, but prior to that, you couldn't identify the defendant as being the person that took the items. What changed?
Cause I couldn't remember, looked like, his hat was covered in the picture, I didn't really see him physically,
Okay, well, isn't his hat covered in the picture that you just looked at?
Not really, but
Was it off? Was the hat off?
I mean, I couldn't remember, it happened too long ago.
And you indicated that he was wearing a yellow shirt, is that right?
Yes.
Just Johnson.
Judge Judge, okay. You saw the photos, Judge? for the
Yeah, I
exhibits?
got
May I
it.
approach to take a look at,
Sure. You want them all?
if I could,
So,
unless you need it?
Nope. I don't need them.
You can take a look at those, the exhibit, and tell me, is that a yellow shirt or is that a blue shirt? or
It's orange.
Okay, so when you said he was wearing a yellow shirt, that wasn't correct.
Orange. Yeah, tiger. It was a tiger shirt.
Tiger shirt.
Misunderstanding. Yeah.
Okay. Also, you said that your job there is, you work pretty much, sounds like everything.
Yeah.
Cashier, stocking shelves, correct?
Yeah, correct.
And when you said you stock shelves and you said you didn't determine the price, correct?
What's that?
You don't determine the
No, I
price
don't
of
determine
the
the price,
items,
no.
correct?
No, I do not.
All you do is just follow whatever is on the box or on the shelf, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. You indicated today that the Tide Pods that were taken were, you said $25.99, that was the that
$24.99.
$24.99? And how do you know that the value of those items that were taken were, each item was $24.99?
That item came from a shipper, and
Okay,
we stocked it on the shelf, and it was like a one-time item that was discontinued, and it was priced $24.99, and they were up there.
where did you get that price?
The price was on the shelf in the system, whatever.
Okay, do you have any documentation from the system or the shelf?
No, I do not.
Is there a reason why you don't have any sort of a documentation to show what the price of that item was?
Because that item was disconnected from that incident. We just stopped bringing it. It was a one-time item, and we just couldn't really go back.
Okay.
You know. I don't have.
Does it show in the picture that you're holding right now, which packages were taken?
Yes,
Can you describe for me what the package is?
it's a Tide Pod.
Okay, it's a Tide Pod, right? So a Tide Pod is some sort of detergent, correct?
Yes,
Right, and it comes in a big package, or in a package, in a bag, let's call it that. And then within that are the small individual Tide Pods, correct?
yes,
And that's like the liquid detergent, correct?
yes,
Right, they come in little plastic, correct?
yes.
All right. Can you tell me from that picture, or can you tell me from what you stock on the shelf, which Tide package was it, and how many smaller packages would be in that package?
I couldn't remember.
Okay, so those packages, the Tide Pod packages, come in various sizes, fair to say?
Yes,
All right, and some are smaller and some are bigger, correct?
yes,
Some contain maybe 8 to 10 little Tide Pod packages, correct?
yes,
And some will contain 30 to 40 of them, correct?
correct.
All right, which ones were taken from the store?
I knew it was a big bag, but I don't know the exact amount that was. Like you said, those little Tide Pods, I couldn't remember.
Okay, so you don't know which package was actually taken, fair to
objection.
say?
He said, I don't remember. He didn't say.
I know it was Tide Pods, but I don't remember which Tide Pods it was. We have a million
All right,
different
so
Tide
Stan,
Pods.
he says he just doesn't remember the size box.
Well, that's fine. Well, then, tell me, how can you remember the price of the item when you don't know which package was actually taken?
It was right above, right when we get a product in, we go by the UPC number. When we open the box, we stock the item. So the tag's already right on the shelf, and the product goes on top. The whole shelf was completely empty. And the tag under it was $24.99.
Did you take a picture of the shelf that shows which one it was?
No, I did not.
Okay, so again, you don't remember, or you can't tell me which specific package was taken.
It was.
Objection. It's going down the same path. I don't remember. We just said if he doesn't remember.
Judge,
I didn't remember.
Well, it doesn't make sense to me that you can say, I don't remember which package was taken or which one is taken, but I can remember what the price is. I don't understand how that
I
matches.
do, he just says he remembers where the UPC was, and he knows the UPC was where he put packages. He didn't look at the size of the packages.
And the question was, yeah, the quantity. He doesn't remember
He doesn't
the
remember the
quantity.
size of how many were in the box, but he knows the price because that's what he does. He checks the UPC, puts items where the UPC is on the shelf. And that UPC was $24.99, and he said everything was missing from that UPC spot where he had put the Tide Pods. I get it. I can understand that.
Did you take a picture of the UPC code?
No,
Is there a reason why you didn't do that?
no.
Do you sell other Tide Pod packages?
Yes, we do.
Which ones do you sell?
We have a lot, big bags, small bags, medium-sized bags. We have Clorox, Tide,
Oh, I'm just worried about the Tide Pods right
Yeah,
now, that's all.
well, then, yeah,
Okay. And you would agree with me, though, that there are various prices for the various bags, depending on how many actual smaller Tide Pods are in them, correct?
Correct.
And you can't tell by the picture how big the bag is or how many Tide Pods are in each one of those bags, correct?
well, it looks like it's a pretty big size bag.
Well,
It's a big bag, it's not a small bag or,
oh, but they don't figure out the price by the size of the bag, they figure out the price of the item by how many Tide Pods are in the bag, correct?
Right.
Right. So going back to my original question, you can't tell how many packages or how many Tide Pods are in those packages.
Nope.
I guess I got a question, following in that line. Have you seen a lot of Tide Pods that you've stocked?
yes,
Have you ever seen a larger bag with just a few Tide Pods in it?
yes.
So you could have a large bag,
It's
and-
like big bags, we have the boxes.
but it might only have, what, 2 or 3 pods in it?
Yeah, like 10, could have like 15 in there.
But it still could be a big
Yes, it
bag.
could be big bag, yes.
So you can't really tell by the bag size.
Yeah, you can't really,
How many might be in there?
yeah,
Well, but on the bag, though, it indicates how many are inside the bag, correct?
that's correct.
All right. And it also sometimes depends on what sort of substance is in the Tide Pods, correct? They have added
Correct.
ingredients of some sort?
Yeah.
And what color is the bag that is in the picture that you were looking at?
Yellow and orange.
Do you know whether it's yellow on the bottom and orange on the top, or vice versa?
It looks yellow on the bottom, orange on the top.
That's just what you were seeing from the picture,
From the
correct?
picture, yeah.
All right. Do you have anything of any sort of knowledge of the items that were taken? Do you remember if they had yellow on the bottom or orange at the top, or vice versa?
The only thing I can remember that those were taken is that they were $24.99. They were a big bag, and the whole shelf was empty. That's all I can remember.
And you indicated that the whole shelf was empty, and you said that he took around 12 bags.
It was around 12, yeah.
And do you have any sort of knowledge or any sort of written documentation to show that there were 12 bags on that shelf?
I didn't know, because when the police came, they did that. Whatever they did, they did. They looked at the cameras, they go the report, they did whatever they did.
I'm not asking anything about the police. This is internal at Foodland. Do you have any documentation that shows
Not
that
that I
there
know.
were 12 bags
Mm,
on that shelf?
Not that I know.
And then after that date, the 12 bags were gone?
Not that I know. My job's to stock. I don't go count every item in the aisles and write up. That's not my job.
How many bags were put up there? How many did you put up there yourself, do you recall?
I don't remember.
You said that you got the box originally you got the box, correct? And then you stocked the shelf, right?
Okay, yeah.
Right, how many come in a box?
Come 12, like a pack 6. It just depends on the box.
Depends on the box. You don't
on which
remember, you don't remember what came in this one?
No, I do not.
So you have no SKU number and you have no inventory to show that you got these in.
No, I do not.
Thank you, Judge. Nothing further.
Peter,
Just a few questions. Is this an item that Food Bank typically carries?
Yes.
Okay. After this incident happened, did you stop carrying the item?
Yes.
When you stop carrying an item, what do you do with the information about the item?
We just throw away the tag and just completely just discontinue it.
And you do that for all items that are discontinued,
Some items,
but not all items?
not all items.
What items, do you do that for items that you might bring back in the future?
Yeah, like normally the dollar items.
Do you plan to bring this item back in the future?
No, we do not.
Nothing further.
Judges call follow. So you're telling me that, these items were stolen from you, correct?
Yes,
And this item was also gonna be discontinued at the store, is that right?
yes.
All right, and the same day that you found out that these items were stolen, or you observed these being stolen, you guys destroyed the SKU code.
We didn't destroy it.
What happened to SKU code?
I have no idea. I don't touch the tags.
Well, did anybody think to preserve the SKU tag at all?
I haven't read about it. No, not that I know.
Nobody thought to do that.
Not that I know.
You didn't think it was gonna be important to do that?
About it. That's not my job to pull the tags.
Well-
I don't really know what they did with the tags, but all I know is they did not bring the item back. They discontinued that item.
And was something else destroyed? Was there any inventory destroyed that showed what you had?
Nope.
I thought you just said that that's what you did. You destroyed the
No.
tags.
The
When
tag,
somebody-
it's a plastic tag where normally the lady, when she goes hangs up, the item not
Right.
there. They just throw that away.
Whose job is it to put the tag up there?
Julia,
Okay. And she didn't do anything with respect to this case to preserve the tag,
I don't know.
okay? Did you search anywhere at your location for any sort of information regarding the tag or the price on these items?
No,
Do you think it was important to do that?
not that I know of.
You were speaking to the police on the day of the incident, correct?
Correct.
And they were asking you how much everything cost, correct?
Correct,
Right? And it's on the actual SKU what the cost was, right?
correct.
And you didn't go on that date, the very same date, to go get the SKU, correct?
Not that I remember.
But the police were asking you about the amount, and they were indicating to you that it was an important fact, correct?
When the police came, I showed them the video. Like I said, I don't really remember what happened on that day. And he just went from there, and I didn't say nothing else, and I just went on my business, went on my day. So I don't remember.
But you were really intrigued as to whether or not the defendant had been caught, though, correct?
What was that?
You were very intrigued that the person had been caught, right?
Yes.
Objection, relevance.
Yeah, it's cross-examination, I'll let him, go ahead.
You were very intrigued that he was caught, correct?
Yes.
You were very happy, in fact, that he
Of
was
course.
caught.
I mean, you
Right.
commit a crime, you should do the time.
Right,
That's all I
okay.
mean.
And so you wanted to help out the police in any way you
Of
could,
course,
right?
yep.
So you wanted to provide them as much solid information as you
Of
could,
course,
right?
of course.
And so when they asked you how much everything was, you basically said it was around $25, didn't you?
And it was $24.99 item.
You told them it was around $25,
I didn't say it was on, the item was $24.99.
right? And you didn't go pick up the SKU.
Objection.
No, I did not.
A police report is not evidence. I have the witness here. He's testifying to what he knew. It's $24.99. Been there.
He's holding his own.
You need to be quiet, Judge.
Overruled.
Quiet, that's
It's
fine.
cross-examination,
Yeah,
and the witness is holding his own, go
yeah,
ahead.
that's fine. Judge, I think I gave my point, Judge. So
Okay,
I'm done, thank you.
all right. Mr. Murad, you may
Yes.
step down, thank you very
Thank you.
much. Any other witnesses?
Yes. People will call Officer Hannah. Sure. For the record, I did instruct the witness not to discuss his testimony with anyone else.
All right, thank you. Raise your hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Have a good officer.
Please state and spell your name for the record.
Officer Samuel Hannum, Samuel, last Hannum,
How are you employed?
as a police officer,
What did your duties entail?
general patrol duties.
That means like dispatch gives you a call, you respond.
Yes, sir.
It could be a call of any nature.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Were you on duty on August 27, 2023?
Yes, I was.
Were you dispatched to Cleveland?
Yes, I was.
What was the nature of the call you received?
For a subject stealing from the store.
When you got there, what did you do?
I spoke with the clerk and caller,
Do you remember the name of the clerk?
Antonio Murrah.
Do you remember who the caller was?
I believe he was the caller.
Okay. When you spoke to him, while you were there, what happened next after you finished speaking with him?
So as we were kind of still conversing and wrapping up, understanding what the larceny was about and who the suspect was, the security guard on the outside alerted us that there was someone who matched the description walking through the area.
What did you do in response to that information?
So I walked to the front of the business with Antonio and the security guard, and Antonio immediately confirmed, yes, that is the same suspect.
What did you do with that confirmation?
I radioed more information to area officers to respond to the area. A couple officers began to respond, and I maintained consistent surveillance of the suspect.
Once all the other officers arrived, what did you do?
We made contact with him inside a gas station in Detroit.
Okay, upon making that gas station is within 1 mile south of there.
That is correct.
Okay, upon making contact with him, did he say anything to you?
I don't recall.
Did you ask him about the theft of food line?
Judge, I'll object this time for hearsay.
What was the question?
I asked him if the person he met at the gas station said anything. Which,
Okay. And then your objection was that's hearsay?
Yes, Judge.
Okay, and what's your response?
I'll just continue on, it's not really.
Okay.
The person you met at the gas station that Antonio identified, do you see him in the courtroom today?
Yes, I do.
Will you please point at him and describe an article of clothing?
Sure. He's seated next to the defense attorney. He's wearing a gray hoodie.
Let the record reflect that Officer Hannah has identified the defendant.
So ordered.
Once you confronted him in the gas station, what happened next?
We placed him under arrest, and my partner transported him to the detention facility.
When you were investigating this matter, did you watch any videos?
I did.
What kind of videos were there?
They were videos shown to me by the clerk on his cell phone.
What were the videos of?
They were of surveillance cameras inside the store and of mobile surveillance, essentially, that he was conducting on his own of the suspect.
When you were writing a report for this matter, did you give a recommendation when you sent the report to the prosecutor's office as to what should be charged?
Judge, I'll object to the relevance of that. At this point in time, if he's talking about what he's telling the prosecutor's office, I don't know if that's necessarily relevant to this.
Get some attitude.
Oh, well, where are you going?
Price.
Right. Oh.
Judge, the prosecutor's office has no bearing on price, whether the price is what the price is. So
It's just an opening question to get to it.
Well, let's subject to his continuing objection on it. Let's see where you're
Thank you,
going.
Judge.
How did you send it up? What charges did you recommend?
I wrote the report as a retail fraud theft in the first degree.
Okay. What information was provided to you that you decided to do that?
Based on the information that I had at the time and based on the total value of the items stolen, I believed that the theft exceeded $200. And based on the arrestee's prior convictions, that enhanced the charge to retail fraud.
Why did you believe it was over $200?
Based on the statements from the clerk and the video that I observed.
Do you remember the amount that the clerk told you it was?
I'll object at this point, Judge. It's going to be hearsay.
Well, yeah, it is.
What did you do next, if anything?
Next in regards to what?
Next to after the defendant was arrested and he was transported.
So he was transported to jail. I believe I responded back to finish up with the clerk at the food land. Because we were kind of mid-sentence, I needed to provide him the police report number and some other things. And then if I recall correctly, after that point, we received a secondary notification that there may have been some other items left at the gas station in Detroit, which turned out to be kind of not relevant.
I have no further questions for this witness. I'll pass them.
Okay.
Officer, when you went back to the food land and you met with Mr. Murad, correct, to discuss what happened on that date?
Yes, sir.
And then you also were able to observe the video that was involved, correct?
Yes, on his cell phone.
So did you see the video inside the office there as well of all the cameras?
As I recall, I don't believe I was able to access it at the time. The clerk wasn't like totally apt with the system at that moment. And he said that he needed some help getting the actual video.
you stayed inside the little room that's there, correct, by the kid?
That is correct.
Okay. Did you ever go out onto the floor where the items were taken?
I don't believe so.
Yeah,
Um,
so you're looking to
When you spoke to the
clerk,
clerk, Mr. Murad, you indicated to him that you needed to know how much the items were, correct?
Yes,
He gave you a verbal as to what they were, correct?
yes.
Did he ever provide you any sort of documentation to show what the
what I
items
can
cost?
do, what I can do though is, I can probably take.
I don't believe that he did. I think he indicated that he needed an inventory to verify the exact amount.
Okay. And it was indicated in the report that you would need to do an inventory to do that, is that correct?
Correct.
Did you ever receive any sort of an inventory from Mr. Murad to determine how much the actual items cost?
I did not at the time, and he indicated that he would need the assistance of the owner of the business to verify that.
Okay. Prior to you sending the matter to the prosecutor's office, did you get any sort of inventory?
I don't believe so.
As we're sitting here today, have you ever gotten any sort of inventory?
I have not.
Okay. Did you ever go, and as you already testified, you did not go to the shelf where the items were taken to see how much the items cost?
I don't recall doing so. No.
All right. Other than the picture that we have that shows that there are a package of Tide Pods that are taken, do you have any specific details of which Tide Pod package was taken?
Let me see if that's.
Can you just clarify that question?
Sure.
Yeah.
Do you know how many, the packages that were taken? Okay, they contain the smaller Tide Pod.
All right, well, I'll tell you what.
Detergents, correct?
And
That's a yes?
Yes.
Okay.
that-
Do you have any idea, based on what you've seen in the pictures, how many,
but
what kind of count the Tide Pods were in the package that was taken?
I couldn't speak to that. No.
Okay. And they never showed you any sort of documentation or packages or another package that looked similar to what was taken? They mean Mr. Murad. they
Yeah,
never showed you.
Not that I
think
recall,
about,
no.
I would post-it notes
So
exactly where.
did they ever provide you the
Tell you
SKU
they-
number for the item that was taken?
No.
So you took the information from Mr. Murad's verbally, correct? He told you what the item cost,
Yes.
So,
and then you put that in your report and you submitted that to the prosecutor's
I
office.
am sending
Yes, sir.
this on over now, and if we need.
And again, there was no follow-up to determine
do
specifically
you have
which
it
package was taken,
Be here or.
correct?
I don't know that. I can't speak to that.
Okay, well, you didn't do it, right?
Correct.
And is there anywhere else in the police report that showed that that there was a follow-up on that?
I'm not aware of one.
You're not?
I'm not sure.
All right.
Okay.
And as you sit here today, obviously you didn't see the actual packages that were taken, right?
Correct.
And you never saw a similar item that was offered for sale in the store,
Yeah,
correct?
that's,
Not specifically at that store, no.
Okay.
yeah.
Have you seen them in other stores?
Yes, multiple
Yeah.
other stores.
But again.
Yeah.
And I don't mean to be going around, and I'm not trying to give you a hard time. Nobody's been able to point to you which specific package was taken, correct? Only just that he said that the price was $25.99, $24.99,
The other one.
Correct.
all right? But we don't know which package was
Where
taken.
would you?
Correct. They were all taken from the shelf.
Understood.
Yep.
But we don't know how many Tide Pods were in each of the packages.
Correct.
And that's generally dependent on what the cost is.
Oh, I could
Correct.
ask her to send. it.
Correct.
That's no problem.
And you never got an inventory from that, correct?
I did not receive one.
Thank you. Nothing further, Judge.
Any, redirect?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, officer, you can step down.
And let me just double check what your phone number is in case we need to call you.
We told them whatever it is.
Okay. Okay. All righty, I will send that over.
No, Your Honor.
You
Any further
None for the defense, Judge.
At this time, Your Honor, the people will move to bind the defendant over to the circuit court on one count of lethal force first degree, second and second pursuant to MCL 750.356C.
Okay, any argument?
Yes, Judge. Judge, I think the court's well aware of what the defendant's position is on
I
this.
sure am.
Judge,
And let me ask you this. Why isn't it a question of fact for the trier fact? Because I got testimony on the record as to what the price was.
Judge,
Whether you believe that or whether it's the best evidence of it, isn't it for a jury to decide?
I understand that, Judge. But what you can look at too, and I know credibility is an issue, but a question of fact as well. Judge, Mr. Murad testified that he works as a cashier, he works as a stock, he doesn't determine the price, okay? He testified what he remembers of a price, but he can't tell us specifically, Judge, what bag was stolen, what Tide Pod bag was stolen. We can't even determine what item was taken from the store. They don't have the SKU number, they don't have any inventory to show that. I understand he's talking about this from memory, that he remembers that the items that were taken were $25.99. However, but he himself doesn't know what item was taken.
Well, he knows it's Tide Pods. He just
Yes,
doesn't
Judge.
know the size of the bag.
Correct, Judge. But
why do I care about that for these purposes?
But Judge,
Because he
again,
said it was a $24.99 price bag, even though he doesn't know how many were in it.
but he doesn't know what the bag was, Judge. That's the problem.
know what it
understands
was.
it. He doesn't know what, he understands.
He said it was Tide Pods.
Tide Pods, yes, I understand that.
So
Okay,
that's
Judge?
what it was.
No, I get that, okay?
Okay.
But he can't tell this court, okay, which Tide Pod bag it was. And he said that there are various sizes of bags depending on what the number of Tide Pods are inside, okay? He can't tell us what that was. He doesn't have a SKU number to tell us what that was. And the items were gone, right? So he can't tell us which one it is. So how can we confirm that the amount that he remembers was the price?
A jury might believe that you can't confirm it and that they don't believe he's $24.99 is the correct price. That's not my job.
I understand that, Judge. I understand that. But again, if we don't have a SKU number and we don't know what the package is, I don't know how we can come up with the price. And essentially what they're just claiming the price is this other price that's there. And if you ever looked at, another price of these Tide Pods as in evidence, they range from $7.99 to $25.99. But these $25.99 ones are these huge tubs that have huge amounts of Tide Pods in them.
But no one said that.
Well,
that's not in evidence.
because he doesn't remember anything about anything else. Judge, we don't know specifically what Tide Pods were taken. All he's claiming is that the Tide Pods that were taken were $25.99.
And what I heard him say is that's not his job to price anything.
Right.
His job is to know what the SKU number is and that it matches what he's putting on the shelf.
Correct.
And he says what he put on the shelf was that $24.99 package. You don't know how many they're in. And think about it, he's a stock person. He's not really counting how many things are in every package of things he's putting. He's just looking to make sure he's putting them in the correct spot.
Correct, Judge.
For that SKU. So for him, he says he put the correct item there and it was $24.99. That's all he knows is that it was Tide Pods. It was a discontinued Tide Pod that they were no longer carrying.
But I'm sending the information.
That's a question of fact, I would think, for a jury to determine, well, do they really believe he knows what he's talking about? Do they really believe that it really was $24.99 when they don't have anything else to show it? They don't have any, unless they come up with an accounting later. Or inventory from the owner.
I
over there
understand
for
that,
food
Judge,
land.
and I obviously do whatever the court wishes. The court does
Well, it's
have
a good
some
argument.
discretion. Yes, no, I
It's a
understand. The
good
court does have
argument.
some discretion to look at it and say, okay, well, the stock boy is coming in to testify as to what the price is of the value of this item that we don't know specifically was taken. So
But he
that
was
seems to
pretty
be a-
credible to me that he remembered the price and that's what he does, is he at least has to put things on the shelf in the correct spot.
Understood, Judge.
And he knows that was the $24.99 spot. Now, other than that,
But Judge, so how do we know that the items that were actually taken were in the right spot? That's the
he
other-
said they were.
How does he know that? No, he didn't
He
say that
said
they
he
were. He said
put-
he put them on the shelf up there. But how do we know, when did he put them on the shelf? We don't know all that. We
Yeah,
don't
I don't know
the
what
ones
he
that were
put
there,
them
the
on.
ones that he
All
put
he
up there.
said was he put them on there in the spot where the tag is. I gotta take that at face value. I mean, there was nothing about his testimony that made him look like he was lying or unbelievable.
I'm not saying that he's lying either, Judge, but I don't know when he put them up there on the shelf. Are they in the same spot that he put them up there? Did somebody else change it and put something else
Okay,
up
well,
there?
that's for the jury.
I-
That's not for me. I know the argument. It's a good argument.
Obviously, I would argue that the amount doesn't rise to the level of over $200.
But he said it was over, based upon his assessment that there were 12 of them and 12 were gone. And he didn't have any more up there.
Correct, you had no more up there, you had no more.
Okay, I basically argued your argument, so what do you want to say?
Look to you, Your Honor.
Okay, it's a good argument as to value. I mean, quite frankly, the defendant here is charged, this is Mr. Davenport, with a count of retail fraud, first degree, second or subsequent offense, based upon a prior conviction. But this allegation is that the items offered for sale were at a price of $200 or more, but less than $1,000. So we know from the testimony of Mr. Murad that there was a theft. Nobody seemed to give anybody any permission to take Tide Pods from the shelf of the Foodland store in Southfield on August 27th of 2023. He says somebody brought it to his attention that they were missing the Tide Pods, so he played back a camera footage in the office in the back room and saw the empty spot where the Tide Pods were. And a person had filled his pockets with the Tide Pods from that shelf. He said they would have somewhat of a chubby face, orange or yellow Detroit Tiger shirt on, and looked like 2 pairs of pants. At that time, he couldn't identify the person in court, but then he went on to say that the Tide Pods were $24.99 in that spot. Now, the testimony established that he's just a stock guy. And his job, he said, was to place the items on the shelf. Because there was a lot of conversation about what his job was, a stock person. And he said he puts the items on the shelf in the space where the tag is, and it's sort of like a UPC tag. He said he doesn't even put the tags there. He just puts the item in the correct spot. And he mentioned some other lady later on in the testimony named Julia, who actually puts the tags up and removes tags when things are no longer carried. His job is simply to know where the item is, goes, and to match it and put it on the spot on the shelf. So he said that this person, as he called the police, and he was talking to the police, that the security guard mentioned that a person fitting the description, after he had told the security guard about it, was seen in the vicinity. So he said that he went and followed the person and told the police that. Well, exhibit 1 were photos, and somebody has them. I don't have them. You have the photo? And these are photos that Mr. Murad, the stock person, took of the guy walking down the street as he followed him in his car with the Tide Pods in his hands, wearing, I believe it was an orange Detroit Tiger shirt and a hat. And he was able to identify that person from looking at the photos as being the defendant. Yeah. And this was at a Quick Mart gas station. He testified, or the officer who subsequently testified, that this was in Detroit, right on the other side of 8 Mile. And that he looked like he was giving the Tide Pods to somebody in a suburban type vehicle, as if he were selling them. That was his testimony. And clearly there is a picture of the defendant with some Tide Pods in his hand, bags of them. Can't tell how many are in the bag. And the testimony of Mr. Murad was that they appeared to be large bags, but you really don't know how many are in there. And he didn't pay that much attention to them, and there was nothing left on the shelf for him to know that anyway. So it was established on cross-examination that no one really knew, other than Mr. Murad, the price. There was no other testimony about price. He says he remembered it to be $24.99 on the shelf. And he doesn't have any other documentation about the price. He didn't know how many Tide Pods were in the bags, but he believed there were 12 bags. He was consistent with that. He did say some packages have 8 to 10 pods, some have 30 to 40, and that the price on those generally does have something to do with the amount of pods that are in the bag. Didn't take any photos of the UPC code on the shelf. Just told the police what happened, and he said he went on about his job that day. He also said that the Foodland doesn't carry that item anymore. It was a limited, one-time only item, and that they were not going to be bringing that back in the future. It was a discontinued item. And that if there was some type of documentation, he wouldn't have it, wasn't his job. And the officer Hannum said about the whole event, he pretty much mirrored what Mr. Murad said. He did indicate that he watched the video that Mr. Murad had on his phone, saw the photos of the defendant, that he in fact wrote the report for retail fraud first degree, and based upon the defendant's priors, and he said based upon the value of the items, which was the information that he received from Mr. Murad. He also said that he was able to arrest the gentleman over at the gas station in Detroit. He says he never received an inventory as to the exact amount of pods that were in the package. He never went out on the floor to verify the UPC code to see what the exact price was. He just wrote his report based upon the information from the Mr. Murad gave him. And other than the picture, he said he has no idea how many Tide Pods would have been in the bag. All right, so in order to prove this case, you have to show first that the defendant took property of the store. So that's pretty clear that there was property taken without permission of Foodland. The defendant was identified as the person who removed the item from the shelf. The next element is that it has to be moved from just enough. Doesn't matter if they actually got the property to the cashier or out of the store, they just have to have moved the property. And third, with the intent to steal the property, which is intended to permanently take the property from the store without consent.
Oh, yeah.
Well, in this case, the defendant moved the property off the shelf. You can make an inference that he intended to steal it because he in fact walked out of the store across to a gas station in another city and gave them to somebody else. So that element is satisfied for probable cause purposes. And then fourth, if this happened inside the store in the immediate area of the store, and it certainly was in the store, and the store was open to the public. Value is a question of fact. It's $200 or more, but less than $1,000. 12 packages at $24.99 would be at least $300. And that was the testimony of Mr. Murad. The questions about how many were in the pack and did he really know that it was $24.99? Did he actually put that same package in the shelf, or was it moved by somebody? Those are all questions for a jury to figure out, or a trier of fact. But on this record, for probable cause purposes, there's enough evidence as to value, and the rest is a question of fact for a trier of fact. So court's going to bind the matter over for trial on this count as charged, and continue to bind.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay, thank you. And here are the people's exhibits back.
So Kennedy is the next two pieces. We can call Davis C first and then most of it.